And if you notice, the first few shots he did, he was just absorbing the attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he actually, the second part, he's actually attacking and moving toward me. So it's harder for me to hit him.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder for me to attack.
100%. Yeah. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. It's not one of those things where I'm just gonna sit here and take this, right? Because I have to have the defense, right? I have to be protected. But from there, right, I don't want to stay there. I have to start attacking. And the cool thing about this is without changing the structure at all, it goes from a defense to an attack. Today, I want to put the shape, I want to put the shell to the test. And not just with me doing it, because if you've seen any of our videos before, you know that I can do it, but to somebody who's never done this before. So the working premise is that I'm just going to come in with a wild shot, that wild haymaker that everybody essentially knows is coming, right? So if I just come in for that wild shot, it's pretty instinctual. It's pretty easy to put something up in a way that's actually going to work, right? Most people can do this. However, this is where it changes a little bit. When you invite somebody else in to have fun, and unlike all the Hollywood movies, right, I'm not going to attack, and then Rennie's not going to attack, but we're going to attack at the same time. So a couple of interesting things happen there. One of which is once you realize that you're having to deal with more than one opponent, right, you kind of get an overwhelming reflex. You kind of get a little overstimulated, and the human body naturally wants to shell up, right? He's never done this before, by the way, right? You've never done this, right?
He's just come off the street.
Just come off the street. So I want to talk about a couple things here, right? You notice in the very beginning demonstration, and we did not rehearse this at all, once more than one punch started coming in, when it was one punch, one hand went up. And it was effective, right? But once more fists started flying at his head, you saw him shell up and kind of drop his weight a little bit. And this is very, very interesting because I know of a particular method of training that is built completely around this, right? And I want to talk about this a little bit. So I'm going to repeat it to you, right? It's been kind of put on our channel and stuff like that before, but since you have never done this before, I kind of want to give you a rundown in real time, right? And then we're going to put it to the test. So whenever I am trying to effectively shell up on my head, right, I'm going to take one hand. It doesn't matter which one because you can do it with both sides. But I'm going to take one hand and I'm going to make a kind of C cup with it, right? And I'm going to place it right on the base of my neck here, right? Right on the base of my skull. From here, I want to bring this elbow in and I want to bring my shoulders up. And that way it's nice and structurally sound, right? And then from here, I'm going to take this other hand and I'm going to do that same C grip, right? And I'm going to take that high up on this wrist. But when I put this up, I don't want to just leave it straight down. I actually want to bring that other shoulder up and I want to kind of close my head around that, right? So I want to be up and nice and tight here, right? So you notice both the elbows are pointed straight forward. You can still kind of see a little bit, right? But it's nice and structurally sound. So if you wouldn't mind, please go ahead and lay down on the way. Now, I want you to put your hands up like you would a normal guard, right? Elbows bent, all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do here, right, is I'm just going to, I'm going to put my hands on your wrists here, and I'm just going to try to do a couple of push-ups, if you don't mind. It's a little close quarter, but, you know, you train Jiu Jitsu, so it's okay.
He's not going to kiss you.
It's okay. Well, I wouldn't go that far. I might flip, right? So from this position right here, I'm just going to do a couple, don't let me fall. Don't let me fall. I don't have insurance.
That's kinky.
Right? So that's kind of, how does that feel?
It's definitely hard to keep you up.
Yeah, it feels like shaky and hard to keep me there. Now, I want you to go through that shell position that I just taught you. So it doesn't matter which hand that you have on the base, right? Nice and tight. That one's going to be on the wrist, nice and tight. So, and I want you to roll your shoulders up, and I really want you to kind of keep your head nice and covered there. All right. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing, except I'm going to place them on your elbows. Okay. And how does that feel?
It's actually way easier.
It's a whole lot easier, right? You can go ahead and come out. Thank you. What this does is this shows you one very, very important thing, right? When my hands are out, right, they're not connected to anything, right? So that means that it's not going to be near as strong. But when I have this structure, and really cool thing here, if you look, it's actually a triangle. And if you know anything about geometry, which I really don't, but I've trained things that talk about geometry and I like to sound smart. The triangle is going to be the strongest structure in nature, in everything, right? So when I have this triangle structure and it's connected, that's what that is. It's all structure. So it should make sense that when you're having all these punches coming at you from all different ways and in multiple fists, right? The more structure you have, the more you're able to take. Does that make sense?
It's a supportive frame.
Yes, 100%. So now we're going to do the exact same thing as we did before, except this time Ken is going to be utilizing the shape, right? I'm going to let him get into the position, and then I'm going to hit him very hard. All right, so if you will, then I'm going to... And yes, I'm using focus mitts, right? But I'm not really taking it all that easy on him. As a matter of fact, I really hope it's not my turn next. So now we're going to do the exact same thing, and we're going to bring Rennie in, and we're both going to swing at him at the same time, and we'll see how it goes.
Can I kick him in the nuts?
Yes, 100%. Are you ready? And go. And time. So let me ask you a question. How did that feel?
Wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
You liked it?
A little bit.
We're gonna have to do it more. One thing that I think is very, very important that's being showcased here, and one thing that I definitely think that you should know, whether you like this kind of thing, whether you don't like this kind of thing, or whether you think it just looks absolutely ridiculous, there's one thing that is true above all else, and that is that when it becomes a situation where you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like there's fists coming out of everywhere, right? The more structure that you have protecting the most important part of your body, which is your head, right? The better that you're going to fare. And here's the kicker, right? Right now, we're all standing up. What if he was sitting? Yep. And time.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I think the point needs to be made that it doesn't matter what type of position that you're in. It doesn't matter how many fists that are flying. Again, the more structure that you have protecting what matters most, the better off that you're going to fare. Now, again, mind you, he's never done this before, right? So the movements are still very primitive. They're still very solid. Once you spend more time practicing these things and going over these things, what starts as just a simple shell, right? To where I'm just staying right here in this position, right? It gets a lot more live to where now I'm moving around and I'm able to cover more of my body, right? It's like with anything else, right? The more you train it, the more you refine it, the better you make it, right? But from your very first day, the very first time that you've ever done this, right? You take a situation where you're feeling completely overwhelmed because there's fists everywhere and you're trying to keep yourself protected, to where you have a viable system of protection and you can use it right then, right there with multiple opponents.